Hello, good morning, and welcome to Joy News at 6. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM and hits 103.9 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, we're on Love 99.5 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including ATL FM Cape Coast, Might FM Tamale, Bewa Radio Yendi, and Nkiligi FM Bole. Get radio, TV, and online content on the myjoyonline.com interactive app for Android and iOS devices. Coming up, media budget review draws poor reviews, especially from the business community who believe there's nothing inspiring to better their trade.
We've not been able to reduce prices because the cedi dollar rate is not the best. And that is a very difficult thing.
To the exchange rate and then the fuel prices.
We'll hear from the leaders in the business community and an economist in business.
Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam announces 7 billion cedi spending cut for this year as he vows to be prudent with expenditure in the coming months.
Also, government to settle allowances of striking CTEC members in 2 weeks as they meet them later today to convince them to return to the classroom.
And it's in the payment system, the give me system has been done. All that is left is hitting people's accounts. And we are looking at the situation of maximum 2 weeks, it will hit their account.
These and more with me, Mami Sinyamiche Thompson. Stay for details. The mid-year budget review has drawn poor reviews from the public, particularly from the business community, which has expressed deep disappointment. Business leaders, including the Ghana Union of Traders Association and the Hoteliers Association, have criticized the budget for lacking innovative policies and failing to address critical economic challenges. More of that shortly. First, though, here's Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kwekwa Sante with a wrap of the budget presentation by Finance Minister Dr. Amin Adam.
The Finance Minister admits that things have been difficult over the last few years, but says government has been on top of the issues and have been addressing them.
Mr. Speaker, the last 2 years have been extremely challenging globally, and Ghana has not been an exception. The difficult economic environment has truly affected businesses and families, particularly the vulnerable in our society.
But one big news that did come up in this budget is that road tolls are finally coming up again in 2025.
Mr. Speaker, government will also develop a framework for the reintroduction of road and bridge tolls to facilitate the processes for the implementation of a modernized and efficient road and bridge tolling system commencing in 2025.
And that was a wrap by Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kwekwa Sante. But speaking on PM Express last night, GOTA President Joseph Obing and President of the Hoteliers Association of Ghana, Edward Akanyamike, were not impressed with the budget. They argue that it does not offer any substantial incentives to stimulate growth or ease the burdens faced by businesses. Here are excerpts from PM Express.
So we got to a point where we propose a consolidation of the taxes in the industry. The VAT, the NHIL, the COVID, the GET Fund, and all the other taxes, and bring it to a level that is comfortable for us. We were told that the information went in late, so they were going to consider it in the mid-year review. So we were waiting, hoping that request will be dealt to, but it wasn't. And again, to the exchange rate and then the fuel prices.
You will see workers agitating for increment in pay because their take-home pay will not really take them home in the sense that prices are still high. We've not been able to reduce prices because the cedi dollar rate is not the best. And that is a very difficult thing. Here we have fuel going up, and which is a problem. The way it is now, I think they really have a lot of work to do. These last 4 months, they really have a lot of work to do.
Well, on the other hand, economist and political risk analyst Theo Achampon believes even though it wasn't the very best, there were some positive sides to the budget.
We've seen relative stabilization on the macro front. So you can take a number of indicators and they all point to the fact that the recovery is being sustained. But of course, it has to now translate into the micro level issues, the cost of living and other related things that need to be addressed. And you see an attempt in this mid-year budget, and I think we'll see more of that in the bigger budget to come in November, to shift, right, the momentum of the economy more towards growth.
Away from the budget, Minister of State at the Energy Ministry, Herbert Krapper, has reiterated government's commitment to reviving the ailing Tema Oil refinery. Currently, the refinery operates at about 45,000 barrels per day, well below its capacity due to the lack of investment. Carlos Kalani has more from the minister's tour of the facility and others.
At Store, Krapper assured management of government's unwavering commitment to finding a strategic investor to rejuvenate the ailing company.
Store would work again under our watch. We have tried in the past to get a strategic investor to come in and support Tor, albeit unsuccessfully, but we have plans still. I know that there's some discussions ongoing.
The managing director of Tor, Kofi Tego Makumbi, believes a successful negotiation with an investor will revive the crude dissolution unit, CDU, within 3 months.
I see Tor in the next 3 months. In the next 3 months, Tor is going to get lit up. We're going to start our plant. We're going to get a CDU started, and we're going to get functioning.
Now to education. Government has announced that allowances for teachers from various colleges of education who went on strike will be paid within 2 weeks. Despite a court ruling declaring the strike illegal, the teachers have not returned to work. Consequently, salaries for those who did not return in July have been frozen. Professor Francis Nunu stated that teachers have 8 days to resume their duties or risk forfeiting their July salaries, while efforts are being made to settle outstanding allowances.
All the necessary paperwork, everything, and is in the payment system, the give me system, has been done. All that is left is hitting people's accounts. And we are looking at the situation of maximum 2 weeks, it will hit their account.
Well, this morning, the teachers are expected to meet with government and parliament in separate meetings to end the impasse. Professor Francis Nunu is hopeful the meetings will be fruitful.
At school, still doing their duties, and we have attendance sheets of those who are working, those people will be exempted. But those who have not worked all through the period may be affected. But we hope it wouldn't get to that far. So tomorrow we are engaging with them. The Minister of Education, Dr. Osei Yareduchum, has called the various government stakeholders to sit at the table. And we hope this will be the last time for us to solve the problem so that we don't have to freeze their salaries.
Meanwhile, the NLC, or National Labour Commission, says GTEC did no wrong in freezing the salaries of the teachers. Ofosu Asamoah is Executive Secretary of the Commission.
You see, the court has injuncted them, right? And they are continuing with the strike. With that, it makes the strike illegal. Because the court says this strike is in this way, so stop. And you say we won't stop. So when it becomes an illegal strike, then the law provides that you will not be paid for the period for which you engage in illegal strike.
President Akufo-Addo is demanding greater transparency and accountability in the judiciary, insisting that public trust is essential for the effective functioning of the country's democracy. Mr. Akufo-Addo said it is only when judges are held to the higher standard of conduct that public trust will be deepened in the justice system. He said this as a ceremony at the Jubilee House while swearing in 60 new justices to the Court of Appeal.
The judiciary should be free from any form of external influence or interference, be it political, economic, or social. It is only through preserving this independence that we can be sure that justice is administered impartially, that the rights of all citizens are protected, and that the oath judges take to act without fear or favor is fulfilled.
The president also called for innovative ways to deal with the backlog of cases in the various courts.
Justice delayed, as we know, is justice denied. It is imperative that we find innovative solutions to expedite the resolution of cases and ensure that justice is delivered in a timely manner. This will require not only efficient case management, but also the adoption of new technologies and practices that can stream our judicial processes.
And you had President Akufo-Addo bringing us to the end of this morning's bulletin on Joy 99.7 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. I am Amiesi Nyamiche Thompson. Up next is Business with Darryl Kwal on the Super Morning Show.
Hey, we see you specking your car, taking that trip, chilling on the beach. Charlie, now we want to see this become your story. Simply use your ABSA card 10 times or more, and you'll be entered into a monthly draw where you stand the chance to be among 5 lucky winners to take home 40,000 Ghana cedis. The more you use your card, the more entries you'll receive. Earn an extra entry by using the ABSA app or internet banking 5 times or more. No ABSA card? Don't worry. Visit the nearest branch for an ABSA account or card today and make winning part of your story. Promotion is between 1st July and 31st October. This promotion is regulated by the National Lottery Authority on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply. Your story matters. ABSA.
I found the partner I can trust.
Bros, but you told me you had an insurance claim 2 days ago, and today your car is fixed. Fresh like that? How?
Yes, so that is how the new collision insurance policy from Imperial works.
Wow!
I'm okay. The Imperial collision insurance policy has enormous benefits. I just upgraded my usual third-party policy, and I get my car parts fixed when I get a damage from any collision.
Really?
I enjoy hospitalization benefits when I'm admitted at the hospital beyond 3 days, and I still keep my third-party benefits.
Hey.
My years sorted rough.
Hey!
You are saying, hey, just sign up to the Imperial collision insurance policy and enjoy insurance benefits beyond the road. Talk to your broker, agent, or call us on 0577 667 436 for further details. You can also follow us on all our social media handles. T's and C's apply. Imperial General Assurance. Solid protection.
Solid protection.
Oh, jump on now.
Go, the go. Gugomi, at what time when you come back, we are not hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small.
The go.
Yo, Pana. Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Anymore, pop quiz. Are you ready?
Hit me.
Can you give me 3 words that start with omni?
Oh, that's easy. Omnibus, omnipotent, omnibus. The bank with a really nice signboard.
Hey, Radzi, you mean Omnibisic. Omnibsic. Omnibisic. Let me hear you say it.
Omnibisic.
Perfect.
Is that an abbreviation?
Not entirely. And it's not just a bank with nice signboards either. Omnibisic Bank is Ghana's fastest growing bank with innovative banking products and headquarters in Atlantic Tower at Airport City, Accra, as well as 40 branches across the country. Omnibisic Bank has the final word on excellent customer service delivery in Ghana.
Plus, they have the coolest signboard.
Yes, they do. And the coolest name, Omnibisic.
At your service. For Pepsodent, smiles are one of the most important things we have. The problem is, globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. Pepsodent, with maximum cavity protection, helps to prevent the formation of cavities. Pepsodent, because every smile matters. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere. For everyone, yeah.
Here's to the friends who dialed star 712 hash and found no regrets. To the investors who struck gold. To the health workers who diagnosed luck with precision. To the tough guy who couldn't hold back his tears. To the passionate fan who couldn't contain his joy. To the seamstress who turned her hard-earned stitches into a bundle of happiness. And now, here's to you. Your next big win is right here.
Luck is everywhere. For everyone.
dial star 712 hash. Now join in the luckiest winning celebration. Every 1st July 2024. Over dial star 712 hash. Now I can to tickets as a group, individual, and now even as a community. Now win is the prizes are cashier in the community draw or go for the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. Unlock your luck with star 712 hash. Now join in the winning streak now.
The luckiest
Star 712 hash.
luck is everywhere for everyone. Yeah, the luckiest.
Agwafu.
Hey. Morning. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm great. You?
So let me ask you this. What was the most surprising thing you heard yesterday in the media review?
Did anything surprise me?
I don't know. I'm checking. I'm checking. I want to be sure that maybe I'm convinced it's only me. Like I'm the only one who felt like there wasn't much news. It was more of a recap of what we already know.
Yeah. Well,
and a promise to do some things they had already promised to do.
Yeah. Well, maybe the road tolls. I wasn't surprised. I knew at the point the road tolls were going to come back. It was just a matter of time.
So that was it, really.
Yeah, that was it. Really.
I mean, Winston talks about some very interesting mathematics we need to check regarding, let's say debt restructuring, right? External debt restructuring. We need to figure out what exactly he meant and what's going to happen to some payments that he's not going to make as originally planned.
Yeah.
So we'll look at that. But, why the delay, though? Why? Why did they make us wait 4 hours?
After 2 o'clock was it when it started?
Yes.
There
was almost 3.
Well, I think the explanation earlier was that the minority wasn't seated at the point.
Yes. Why were they not seated? Where were they?
I don't know.
Why? You see, I'm learning, Gan. You see, I told you that day will come. Now I know you are. And that's the limit of my knowledge. Let's move on quickly before I embarrass myself. First of all, we're grateful to Total Energies. Total, we go the extra mile for you. And Absa Bank Ghana Limited, your story matters. They brought us the 6 a.m. news. Gratitude continues, this time to the bringers of the Joy Business Report. I'm talking about Omni Basic Bank at your service and Safari Valley Resort, bringing you closer to nature.
Hi, welcome to the Joy Business Report. Coming up, Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam announces 7 billion CD spending cut for this year as he vows to be prudent with expenditure in the coming months. Also, Ghana's total debt stock reaches 742 billion CDs at the end of June, but managers of the economy link it to significant spike in CD depreciation over the period. Also, economic recovery not yet reflecting in well-being of ordinary people. That is reaction of finance lecturer Professor Goffer Bokpen to mid-year budget. Details coming up. My name is Daryl Kwao. Thanks for joining us this morning. Hello to our friends listening from Kofi Radio and KTU Radio. Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam has announced a 7 billion Ghana cedi cut in government expenditure for this year. This is part of several expenditure rationalization measures announced in a mid-year budget review presented to Parliament. There is more in the following report.
Addressing Parliament, Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam noted that this was due to the revision of interest payments by almost 8 billion cedis to reflect external debt restructuring deals closed by government. The minister also announced some expenditure control measures, which includes implementing sanctions for government agencies that fail to comply with the Public Financial Management Act. Government is also working to ensure that public sector payments are all channeled through its online platform, ghana.gov, to help track all payments. The minister is also looking at stock-taking exercise and prioritization of all projects in the country. It is also looking at reducing the budget deficit by almost 8 billion cedis to 42.5 billion cedis. On the revenue side, the government is also working out some fresh measures that the Ghana Revenue Authority will be implementing to ensure that it is able to meet the revised revenue of 176 billion cedis by the end of this year. The Ministry of Finance also revised almost all the macroeconomic targets for this year, as it hopes to end the year with a growth rate target of 3.1%. However, government kept the end-of-year inflation target at 15%.
Meanwhile, government has justified the expenditure rationalization measures and spending cuts announced in the media budget review. It follows criticisms that the cuts were not enough to help contain Ghana's rising debt stock. But Chairman of Parliament's Finance Committee, Patrick Boama, does not agree with this.
The 2023 budget, the appropriation was about 259 billion. If you look at the statement today, he's reduced it to 237, in line with the measures that government is supposed to achieve in line with the IMF program. That is very significant. I think that's a saving of about 22 billion. It tells you about government prudence in ensuring that we are back on track as a country. You realize that government reinstating the fiscal rules, which were suspended in 2020 because of the COVID program. And you know that under that rule, we're not supposed to borrow more than 5% of our overall deficit.
All right, now the Ghana's total debt stock ending June this year reached 742 billion cedis. This was captured in the media budget presented to Parliament. The spike represents more than 160 billion cedis compared to what the country recorded in the same period last year. Now, external debts accounted for more than half of the debt posted in June this year, but government was quick to add that the significant spike in the debt numbers over the past months is due to the cedi depreciation. Meanwhile, government saved some $6.6 billion after concluding negotiations with 5 independent power producers. Let's hear next from economist Professor Patrick Isuming, who has said that the upward revision of the macroeconomic targets for this year is a step in the right direction. He, however, says the move was rather as a result of the IMF program rather than an independent action by government.
In terms of the revision of the growth target, it was quite expected. You notice that the first quarter GDP number that came suggested that the economy grew a little stronger than expected. And as you have seen, the bank and the fund have all made revisions to their growth target. So overall, that was largely expected. I think the other revisions, the fiscal targets, were not revised because when you check, you notice that the revenue is below the target. However, the expenditure is being forced to also be consistent with the revenue target. That's because, the interest payment, the savings from the interest payment is what is helping the government to make that adjustment. So the government was forced to cut expenditure because it's not going to meet the revenue target. The first half of the year, we haven't met the revenue target.
You heard economist Professor Patrick Isuming. Now, finance lecturer Professor Godfrey Bokwin has expressed worry that the economic recovery touted in the media budget is yet to reflect in the lives of ordinary people. Professor Bokwin is of the view that it is more important to focus on improving the well-being of Ghanaians rather than just focus on the numbers and stability.
We still have a long way to go to make sure that this stability, this growth we are talking about, begin to impact lives in a meaningful way. We are not there yet. So there's nothing to celebrate, actually. The reason I say there's nothing to celebrate and we need to sit up is that in 2018, Ghana was among one of the top 6 growing economies in the world. In early 2019, the IMF told us that Ghana's economy was the fastest growing in the world. Among those countries, that Ghana was one of them. If you look at the rate at which they are growing post-COVID, Ghana is far below, far behind. If you look at this recovery and you look at the reality on the ground, if you look at poverty at the lower end, right, poverty has been increasing.
Economist Professor Godfrey Bokwin there. While still with the media budget review, the Ghana Hotels Association has expressed disappointment that the budget did not deal with issues to do with the cost of doing business. Here's Edward Akanyamike Jr., who is president of the association.
The exchange rate and then the fuel prices is really biting hard because the exchange rate also links to the electricity tariffs, which is one of the major inputs in our business. So frankly, we wanted to hear, and I'm glad you mentioned it, we wanted to hear clear measures. And we made it clear that we wanted to hear clear measures dealing with the inflation, even though it's gone down a bit, but we are still not where we want to be. Then the cost of borrowing and all that. But unfortunately, we didn't hear it.
Edward Akanyamike Jr. is president of the Ghana Hotels Association. Now, to other news, the Arab Coordinating Group has announced that it is working to invest about $50 billion in Ghana and other African countries. This was disclosed at the 50th anniversary celebration of the Africa-Arab Cooperation at the launch of the Arab-Africa Financial Consortium in Accra. Meanwhile, President of the African Development Bank Group, Akinwumi Adesina, says they're working with the group to ensure that this funding is well targeted to help deal with challenges facing the continent.
The launch of the Arab-Africa Financial Consortium will chart a new and bolder path for African-Arab economic and development partnership, while leveraging on opportunities for mutual growth between Africa and the Gulf countries. Investment by Gulf Cooperation Council in Africa has been expanding rapidly over the past 1 decade. In fact, GCC countries have invested over $100 billion in Africa. And recently, the Arab Coordination Group planned to commit $50 billion in new investments towards Africa by 2030.
Akinwumi Adesina is president of the African Development Bank Group. Now, for more than a decade, travel and tour company Adansi Travels has been on a mission to revolutionize travel and elevate service delivery. The Joy Business Van traces the journey so far. Founder and Managing Director Gideon Asari will tell us about the impact Adansi has made on the tourism sector and what the future looks like for the company. Take a listen.
And this is the second one we are having. That's on the 11th.
The team at Adansi Travels Limited are planning a tour of Europe as part of the travel agency's 10th anniversary.
The 11th to the 18th of September, we are expecting 100 people and already 48 is gone.
Gideon Asari started the business.
How Adansi started is interesting. In 2012, I had a couple of friends which were involved with some business investment, and the company was doing a gala dinner in Dubai. So I helped them to travel to Dubai, and including myself. So when we were in Dubai for that conference, and the idea came that when we come back, since I was able to organize such a trip for them, why don't we make it a business?
It was an idea Gideon was willing to explore. He had come to like traveling himself, so when he returned to Ghana, he reached out to his friends and started to work towards establishing the travel agency. All right, a full episode, 1 p.m. right after the Joy Business Report, 5 p.m. on Business Live on the Joy News channel. Before we go and look at the markets for you this morning, let's begin with the currency market. The dollar going for 15 cedis, 58 pesos. The British pound is going for 20 cedis, 13 pesos. The euro going for 16 cedis, 96 pesos. Commodity market, crude oil open trading at $81 a barrel after going down marginally. Gold went up by more than $7, opening trading at $2,416 an ounce. Cocoa lost more than $100, trading this morning at $8,286 a ton. And that's the news. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com. /business. Winston is here with more of the Super Morning Show, and it looks like you've given up, haven't you?
Oh, Akwafu, you know,
the way you just
I've been telling you that the dollar is something that I look out for all the time. I mean, but only because, first of all, it could lead to an increase. It leads to an increase in basically everything. I mean, I was having a conversation with a friend, yesterday, and then he was telling me that why are you selling land at such a high price? He says, "Oh, dollar na cost." I'm like, how in God's name did the dollar affect, the price of land?
Well, the value goes up, doesn't it?
No,
she pegs it with the dollar, yeah.
No, how did we come by that? It's really the issue for me.
Yeah, I mean, well, she's going to sell the land at a price that is, it is at the current value of things. I mean, when you talk about how the price of things are going up, she has to increase it so that she can also afford something, right? If she keeps it at the old price, then she doesn't get value for the land that she's selling at this point.
So you don't understand why I look out for the dollar rather. Except that in Ghana, whenever prices go up, they never come down.
That's it. I mean, you just wonder.
The only things that go up and are reduced are vegetables and maybe fruits. So,
because they are perishable.
Yeah.
So if
they don't, at that time. So, for instance, around the time tomatoes, for instance, it gets to the time that the price of tomato, it's very manageable. Then it goes up again. Yeah, but for that one, you can see it. I mean, but these things, land, house, Oh my God, forget it. Anyway.
Oh, they just keep going up. Rent keep going up.
Somebody may
Never
have bought a
come
house for $60,000 5 years ago. He tells you now the house goes for $200,000. You say, okay, why don't you just maintain the 60 at best $70,000 so we get to pay? He says,
Yeah.
no. So that's a problem here. Anyway, Daryl, let's go for our inspirational song. Maybe
All right.
Joyful Way Incorporated can
Oh,
actually,
nice.
inspire us this morning.
It's been a
because,
while.
Yeah, the way things are going there.
Right. Are we in the spirit? Hello, George.
Hi, Kojo.
Yes. Interesting day yesterday.
Yes.
You guys, they made you wait at power. They made us all wait for 4 hours before they
If you
read the
if you
budget.
covered budgets over the years from Parliament, it was not out of the ordinary, if I can use that expression. Maybe, but the hours that
I mean,
dragged.
4 hours. That's a
Yeah,
lot.
you know.
Yeah.
So
There's usually one delay or the other.
It was expected, and
But 4 hours.
it's often not because the person who is presenting it is not around. I remember a similar thing that happened during September's time, and that was even the main budget, and it delayed. And later, when the concerns were addressed, you know,
So, George, you were there. What were the concerns?
a lot of things were flying around, you know, but the interesting thing was that they managed to reach an agreement on
What were flying
What
around?
was flying around?
Oh, the bit about, you know, MPs common fund and all those things and being addressed. So there's other issues as well.
Well, the thing about common fund, yes, they have to pay that. But what I have realized in Parliament, and you know, for anybody who's covered Parliament, these things are normally bipartisan. When I say bipartisan, a lot of the times you actually would realize that as the majority supports the minority because they're all beneficiaries.
Yes.
You know, when the common fund is paid, there's an MP's share. There's also a monitoring and evaluation aspect of it that is paid quarterly. So when all of these are paid, the MPs, as they go to their constituencies, now they have to, monitor and evaluate these projects, and it's able to assist them do a lot of things. Their share of the common fund around this time that is election, mind you, the whole idea of an MP share of the common fund, which I think is a lot of problem for even members of Parliament, but it was something that the late Squadron leader Sou proposed. Then, as minister, some of the assemblies actually returned common fund. And said, they were giving this amount of money for the quarter, they couldn't use all of it. And then he said, well, so since members of Parliament, go campaigning and they make promises, why don't you give them a percentage of the common fund so they can also use that to actually redeem some of these pledges or promises that they make on the campaign platforms. And that was the decision to have an MP share of the common fund. But this is it for me. You have to pay the money. I mean, but you've collected the money, pay.
But again, that this was one of the reasons. You understand me? So there could be other reasons.
Well,
why.
I mean, if it is one of the reasons, then I find it interesting that only half of the MPs were absent from the chamber fighting for this reason. So the other MPs, they were not interested in getting their common fund.
Well, that's why I keep saying that, as someone who's covered Parliament before, I'm not going to mention the year, because if I mention the year, but I remember one time I saw a majority and minority whip having a conversation. The minority whip said, "Oh, this Canaba." Then the majority whip said, "Dabiu." And the majority whip suggested to him, Charlie, Murizi Korum. From this Canaba. So,
but it's funny because you would have thought that this is one of the issues that comes up in Parliament that is not partisan, like you said earlier. So if it's not partisan, then it means it's really the institution of Parliament putting pressure on the institution of the executive to make a payment, right? So it's not a partisan issue. Why would the ruling party's MPs not want to visibly be seen to be part of Parliament?
There's a whip system.
Okay.
Anyway,
let me just let's continue, because the ruling MPs, the ruling party's MPs would never openly be seen
to be part of Parliament.
No.
They would rather be seen to be part of their political party.
They would actually tell their
always
friends.
a whip system.
They'll tell their friends, "Start, we'll support you. Start, we'll support you." Anyway, let's get into our Drive Safe campaign this
Let's
morning.
do it.
It's brought to us by Joy News and the Multimedia Group, and supported by Toyota Superior Quality and Imperial General Assurance, solid protection. And the tip today says, "Let's speed us pass." An effective part of being a defensive driving strategy is to avoid conflict in the first place. Defensive drivers know to let speeders or someone who's driving over the speed limit pass them. Don't feed into another driver's road rage
by increasing your pace to interact with someone who is clearly in more of a hurry than you are. Prioritize your safety, the safety of your passengers, and the safety of others on the road at all times, above winning an arbitrary speed battle on the road. I'll take this part again. Don't feed into another driver's road rage by increasing your pace to interact with someone who's clearly in more of a hurry than you are. Prioritize your safety, the safety of your passengers, and the safety of others on the road at all times, above winning an arbitrary speed battle on the road. I chose this because somebody did something to me this morning, and I thought of speeding to tell him, why are you behaving like that? And I just remembered this, and I said, you know what? Let him go.
Yeah. When my mother used to drive, she stopped driving some time ago. But when she used to drive, she would always let someone moving faster pass her, and she would always add the expression "for umusuko."
Sometimes the tempers, they drive,
let them
you
go.
just
Let them
have to
go.
manage it,
Yeah. I used to have a driver who would insist on showing his supremacy on the road to anyone else who tried to overtake him, and wanted to show the person how powerful our car was. I had to put a quick stop to that nonsense. Anyway, shall we learn how to say it right?
Let's do.
It's brought to us by Kingdom Books. At Kingdom, quality and affordability are their hallmarks, and Societe Generale Bank Ghana. The future is you.
Something must be done.
You say either, I say either.
I think today is a good day for a new word. Here we go. Uxorious. Uxorious. U-X-O-R-I-O-U-S. Uxorious. It means showing an excessive fondness for one's wife. Yeah, there's a word for that. Now, uxorious comes from the Latin word uxoris, which means wife. Back in ancient Rome, when they spoke Latin and said uxorious, they were describing a person who was under the control of his wife. If you know anyone like that, post the word uxorious today on social media and tag them and say nothing. Now let me try and use it in a sentence. My friends eventually gave up on trying to invite me out when they realized I was incurably uxorious. There you go. That's how you say it right. Uxorious. Yes, every day we would like you to use our new words in a sentence and post them, send them to us on WhatsApp 055-111-997. We'll read the best ones out. Get your kids involved, and let's see what creative ideas they come up with for that. All right, news review now brought to us by Access Bank. More than banking.
Okay, so let's start off with daily guide for this morning. And Nana commissions 320 police housing units. And so we're told that, the president has commissioned 320 new housing units for the Ghana Police Service at the Accra Police Depot in Tesano. Now, this milestone, which is a testament to the government's dedication, according to the daily guide, to improving living conditions for security personnel, makes a pivotal step in bolstering national security and safety. And the president, speaking at the ceremony, said these 320 housing units symbolize our resolve to ensure that those who risk their lives daily to protect us have a safe and comfortable place to call home. And talking about housing also, I see in the in the media budget review, the Minister of Finance talks about a new PPP arrangement. And so now it's not going to be government, coming in, government going to pay money, and for persons to develop, housing units. But they're going to go into arrangement. So when a developer, say, has land, government will then construct roads, would get electricity, construct the drainage system. So when you build then, because you didn't, have to take care of all of these things, the cost actually reduces.
Yeah.
But in selling that, in going into this arrangement, government also, through the State Housing Corporation, by way of building the infrastructure, as in road and other things, would have some equity in it.
Yeah.
That's their contribution. And so after the sale, government will be paid some money. And so persons who also have lands, families who have lands, could actually get real estate developers to do this, and then government would facilitate the construction. And that's what is actually happening at Pokiase, for instance. Government is doing that. They're constructing the road. That is good. And, I was talking earlier about the Economic Enclave project, where government, got these lands that you would have to go there. There are, access roads, irrigation. You go there, you're giving acres of land, and then you cultivate the land. You rent the land annually, so every acre will come at a fee. And then there are millers there. So when you go to the Kusunya area, for instance, there are rice millers there. You could just go mill your rice, get it into the market. That's good. Because if we have to get some of these things done, government must collaborate with the private sector. And I think this is something, I say that, look, it's one of the good things Ken Ofori-Atta did, but he should have done it in his first year. The Economic Enclave project. He should have done it in his first year, not in his last year. Anyway, still on the front page, 9.9 billion spent on free SHS as the economy rebounds. It's also here. Supreme Court affirms BOG revocation of UniCredit license. Store will work again. Herbert Krapper assures. NDC, according to the Daily Guide, destroys posters of Adentan NPP candidate. And Otumfo chats with King Charles. Now, this is bad. If this happened, it's bad. We are in a political season, and the last thing we want is a thing like this.
Even not attributing it to any political party, I think that the practice of accommodating people who might not share in your views or even your political party during the season is very, very important. So it's not whether it's even linked to directly to NDC, we cannot independently establish it. It has been reported, all right. But I think that let's accommodate others. This is a season where we should allow everyone to campaign in peace. If you know these people are in an area doing their campaign, could you just even wait for them to finish and then you do yours? The world is big for us, everybody, to share their views and move on.
Yeah, this one that I saw caught my attention. It's on page 7. Seshiri also residents bare teeth over MP's dismissal. And it says residents of Seshiri also in the West Region demonstrated against the mistreatment of the Member of Parliament, Dr. Kwekwe in the House.
Oh, he's the Member of Parliament who got sent out because he said it does not lie in the mouth of the Speaker to say something.
You saw the Speaker address. Is it
that's it, basically.
Regalia or whatever yesterday doing this.
The Speaker, he came out resplendent in kente with a crown. Yes. He does take his traditional wear very seriously,
Nana Speaker.
Yes, tries to represent different cultures from Ghana every opportunity he gets. I think that's actually a positive move. I like it. It gives us something to look forward to as well, Every time he's coming into the chamber, you want to see what he will be wearing today. I like it. I like it very much.
I see. Interesting. Let's look at the new finder. It has 30 billion Ghana cedi disbursed in 6 months as growth has been revised to 3.1% from 2.8%. Also, the minority leader out of force and is saying that the media budget is uninspiring. Scrap taxes, and that's what he says. A new government faces significant challenges from 2026, according to former Minister of Finance Tekwe Ruto's property tax to be reintroduced in 2025.
What happened to the property tax? My assembly.
I think they've been struggling about even who should manage it, who should handle it, because the plan was it to go to GRA, then again it came back to the assembly. I think that all the work has been done.
You see,
the challenge has been who should supervise the implementation of this tax, and maybe that's where now it has been resolved, and they're going ahead to.
George, you can never have an effective district assembly system where the metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives are appointed by the president.
I think we should go the voting line.
Everything the literature says about, competition. So we say that, when you operate decentralization, there is also competition, okay? Even amongst the districts or the assemblies. Why? Because if, for instance, at Ladadekotopong, I am doing something unique, the Krowo Municipal Assembly, members of Krowo would actually make demands of the assembly also. They say, you have to do this for us.
Yeah.
Because we see it happening in Ladadekotopong. But when you don't see these things, when all you see is that they wait for the government to pay them common fund, and then, 2, they actually outsource the collection of, advertising revenue to institutions, some of which take as much as 30% of the revenue and pay the remaining 70% to the assemblies. I have consistently been of the view that if we were to elect these MMDCs, my brother, they will work. Because if you want, and this is the other point. Why? In a country where we say we practice decentralization, and yet central government, through the Common Fund Administrator, can actually purchase things for the assemblies at the central level and use their common fund to pay. And so today, one of the most juicy government positions is administrator of the common fund. I mean, we pay lip service to everything. No wonder in his book or in his collection of essays, Professor Ahoy says Ghana practices a central government supply-driven decentralization. Think about that for a minute. So we're joking. We're joking. Go to my assembly. The previous MC, Kakiman, who was removed, didn't care about the roads. Yes, she didn't care. When people complain, she said that people should be grateful to her because she is taking steps. Can you imagine? MCE says, be grateful to me because I'm taking steps.
The thing about voting at the local level, I mean, some will say that are we now gotten to the level where we are ready for it? Because some are still worried about the political nature of this.
Don't do it on a partisan basis. Every argument I've heard for doing it on a partisan basis has fallen flat. Every argument, it's basically let's do it that way because that's what we are used to. Let's do it that way because that's what we are familiar with. But what's the point of doing something new if you won't do something new?
Anyway, let's get to the online news review then.
It's brought to us by Zenith Bank in your best interest, Goyle Good Energy, Yenara Yendia.
And experience an unforgettable summer escape with your Zenith Visa card. Spend a minimum of $3,000 in at least 5 transactions and win an all-expense-paid trip to the Olympic Games in Paris. Make this summer extraordinary with your Zenith Visa card. Use your Zenith Visa card for all your payments and enjoy the Olympic Games in Paris. For more details, visit zenithbank.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
Now keep going with good energy and enjoy quality choices all over Ghana, wherever you are, whether it's in Accra, Kumasi, Bolgatanga, or Cape Coast, which is where we all will be for the first week of September. Yes, or any other place in between. Fuel up with the best at any of Goyle's stations near you. Keep your engines running with good energy, only from Goyle. Goyle, good energy, Goyle. Yendia. Okay, economic gains not felt by businesses despite positive indicators. That's according to the Hoteliers Association and Guta, who have been speaking about the media review on citynewsroom.com this morning. We will get to citynewsroom.com this morning as soon as we can. Here it is. Okay, Mahama won't debate Baumia to revive his failed career. Isaac Adongo is the one saying this, and he's the latest NDC member to refuse a debate between the former president and the current vice president. Joyce Bawa Mokhtari was vehement that such a thing will not happen. All right, so it's time for the BBC News, and that is brought to you by Fidelity Bank, believe with us, and Old Mutual, 10 years of greatness in Ghana, here for a lifetime.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa. We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
Someone smells great here. And fresh, my love. I wish I could stay in the shower all day. I know, right? Nothing beats a bath with geisha soap. It smells so good, it lasts long, and it's enriched with natural ingredients that work wonders for my skin.
And it now comes with a fresh new look, giving us even more reasons to love our geisha bar.
New and improved geisha soap. Great new look, better fragrance, same natural ingredients, still all last time. This advert is FDA approved.
Be strong and last long. Like geisha.
Goyle, anytime, anywhere. From Wa to Tumu, now Vrungo to Bolgatanga, Tamale to Salaga, it's Goyle. Nkuranza to Banda, Kumasi to Abwasi, Tadi to Cape, Orokodo, Tama to Ho, Accra, and all over Ghana. Goyle brings you quality choices. Fuel up at any Goyle station near you. Goyle, good energy. Yeah.
Please, do you still refill cylinders here?
Oh yes, and there are a lot of benefits when you refill gas cylinders here. Not only do we get to run safety checks on your cylinder before refill, but you get to buy any amount of gas per your pocket. And you even get to see for yourself how much is really being put into the cylinder, so you're not cheated.
Master, this one there, Philly Gadochi. I know say you no invite me, but I go talk some. If you know be these LPG stations, like how we taxi drivers go fill our tanks.
But do these LPG stations have permit to still operate?
Of course. LPG stations are safer now than ever. We've always been licensed and fully regulated by National Petroleum Authority with total support from Ghana Fire Service, Ghana Standards Authority, Factory Inspectorate, as well as the EPA. So don't worry, crowd.
Oh, I hear say these LPG stations be for indigenous Ghanaians. It be true?
Of course. LPG refilling is the only industry in Ghana that is now 100% owned by Ghanaians. By refilling your cylinders at the gas station, you are promoting indigenous businesses.
The money, it go stay here, no.
Oh yes. Protect local businesses by refilling your gas cylinders at LPG stations nationwide.
We know we shall win, and we know we'll survive. Shall wash away all tears.
Dear business owner, congrats on not giving up on your business. You deserve a medal, and your business deserves to be taken to the next level. In fact, it's about time you run a Zenith Bank SME account so you and your business can enjoy the perks of a Zenith SME business card. Oga and Oga Madam status.
The Zenith SME Business Card is a Visa debit card for making secure payments for goods and services. Enjoy great benefits such as free customized digital SME training, free marketing toolkits, access to Visa practical skills training, and more. Unlock the potential of your business today. Visit any Zenith Bank branch nationwide and sign up for the Zenith SME Business Card, the ultimate payment solution for SMEs. For more information, visit www.zenithbank.com.gh or call 0302 680-884 or 0307-086-370. Zenith Bank, in your best interests.
Coming up after the news from the BBC World Service, it's Hard Talk with me, Sarah Montague. Venezuela hosts the world's biggest oil reserves, yet most of its population live in poverty. Its economy is crumbling, and its president, Nicolas Maduro, has presided over the exodus of more than a quarter of its population. In days, Venezuelans will be asked whether they want to re-elect the authoritarian president or opt for the coalition of my guest today. Although she's been barred from standing, she is still the country's leading opposition politician, Maria Corina Machado.
There's no single conflict in the Western Hemisphere more important than what is taking place in Venezuela. And certainly we're facing a tyranny which has produced the exodus of over a quarter of our population, that has violated all human rights, committed crimes against humanity, but at the same time has ties with Russia, with Iran, and that's trying to destabilize the region.
That's Maria Corina Machado on Hard Talk after the news.
Hello, I'm Emily Thomas with the BBC News. A public inquiry in New Zealand has found that 1/3 of all children, young people and vulnerable adults in state and religious care over the past 70 years experienced some form of abuse. Victims said they'd been raped, sterilised or given electric shocks. Those from the Indigenous Maori community and people with disabilities were particularly affected. Here's Katie Watson.
The Royal Commission is the highest level of public inquiry that can be carried out in New Zealand. It's called for public apologies, not just from New Zealand's government, but from the Pope and other religious groups, as some of the abuse took place in faith-based institutions. The Prime Minister acknowledged that compensation claims could run into billions of dollars, saying he would open up the conversations with survivor groups.
Taiwan is bracing for the arrival of a typhoon, the first of the season. Flights have been cancelled, financial markets closed, and people given the day off work. Rupert Wingfield-Hayes is in Taipei.
We're just starting to feel the front edge of the typhoon as it comes towards the capital here, Taipei. It's made landfall on the east coast in the last hour or so, the outer edges of Typhoon Gaimi. As the afternoon goes on, the front edge is expected to move over the mountains and arrive here in the capital, Taipei. This is a big storm. It's packing very strong winds, but I think the big worry is not so much the winds as the amount of rain it is carrying. According to the meteorological authorities here in Taipei, they're saying it could drop between 1,000 and 2,000 millimeters of rain into the central mountains of Taiwan in the next 24 hours.
Kamala Harris has said the November US presidential election is a choice between freedom and chaos at her first rally since becoming the presumptive Democratic nominee for the White House. The vice president told cheering supporters in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, that she believed in a future where every American could get ahead. She vowed to bring the fight to Donald Trump, saying she would proudly put her record against his. Britain's new Foreign Secretary, David Lammy, has arrived in India for talks with ministers and business leaders. He's promised a reset in the country's relationship. James Landell has more details.
His government is only 3 weeks old, but David Lammy has beaten an early path to India because the country matters. Its economy will soon be the third largest in the world, so if Labour wants growth, British firms will need to do more business here. Talks about a free trade agreement with India have been stalled for months. The Foreign Secretary said he would reinforce the UK's commitment to secure a deal, which he said would be a floor, not a ceiling to Britain's ambitions. But this trip is about more than economics. India sees itself as a key player in the so-called global south, and Mr. Lammy said he wanted to reset Britain's relations with these developing countries.
World News from the BBC. A plane has crashed on takeoff in the Nepalese capital, Kathmandu. A spokesman for the operator, Saria Airlines, told the BBC the plane bound for Pokhara was carrying around 17 members of staff. Police and firefighters are at the scene. Images show thick black smoke billowing from the wreckage. Russia's Interior Ministry says a car blast has injured 2 people in Moscow. It said the explosion was caused by the detonation of an unidentified object. The Kremlin has blamed recent car blasts, which have appeared to target pro-Kremlin figures, on Ukraine. Russia says it will impose an indefinite entry ban on 13 Japanese citizens linked to businesses involved in restoration and reconstruction support for Ukraine. The Foreign Ministry said the decision was retaliation for the Japanese government's sanctions on Russia for its invasion of Ukraine. Here's Shaima Khalil.
The entry ban has targeted several key Japanese business leaders, including the Toyota Motor chairman Akio Toyoda. The list also includes the Rakuten Group CEO Hiroshi Mikitani, who traveled to Ukraine in September with Japan's then foreign minister. Russia had already imposed indefinite entry bans on the Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, as well as the heads of both chambers of Japan's parliament, some cabinet members, and journalists. In February, Japan said it will provide Ukraine with more than $100 million in grant aid for countermeasures against landmines and unexploded ordnance.
John Mayall, the pioneering British blues musician and bandleader, has died at his home in California, aged 90. His career as a guitarist and songwriter began in the British rhythm and blues boom of the 1960s. His band, the Blues Breakers, became an incubator for some of the stars of the golden age of rock, including Eric Clapton, Peter Green and Mick Fleetwood. While he never made a hit record or achieved great fame himself, John Mayall kept recording and touring into his 80s. BBC News.
Do you want a healthy smile?
Are you concerned about your child's dental health? Hi, I'm Tanya from Bethel Dental Clinic, Ghana. We believe in establishing good oral hygiene habits early is essential for your child's long-term dental health. Baby teeth, also called primary teeth or milk teeth, will fall out and be replaced by permanent teeth starting at around 6 years old. So it's tempting to think that primary teeth are not important, but in reality, those baby teeth are very important. Your child's first dental visit will include a complete exam, cleaning, and a fluoride treatment to protect the teeth. Your dental office should ensure that your child's dental visit is comfortable, gentle, and welcoming. Schedule your first dental visit today and give them the gift of a lifetime of healthy smiles.
Healthy smile.
My body, when you wake up in the morning and you know the money calling, oh, you go work, but you know it's out in your side. If I believe with us, if I hold my hand and believe, oh, cause you know it's out in your side. And when you dream, no say I did for you. And when you hustle every day, many wanna go. Anything you do, I did for you. Many want. If I believe I did your side, fidelity. If I believe with us, fidelity. If I know I did your side, fidelity.
Yeah. We have a new leader in town. Obiarentie. Amafo. Madam was Sibebre. When him say my baby, maybe more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresh